You know, when we looked at the Cleveland Browns a couple years back, everybody was excited about this. Like, oh, wow, okay, man, they got a really good team. Baker Mayfield didn't utilize it right. They've got a defense. All they need is a quarterback. And then they signed Deshaun Watson in the middle of chaos, in the middle of dozens of allegations and lawsuits and claims. They didn't just give him
a bold move.
Yeah, and then they just give him all the money. That's the part. It wasn't that they signed him for $200-something million, Rob, and they said, $85 of it guaranteed. All of it guaranteed. That's unheard of. In the middle of scandal, and not a kind of, I can understand it.
Well,
scandal.
That's how desperate they were, though, is that he had him over a barrel. Remember, he didn't want to go there. He was going to go to Atlanta. There was all this talk. And then they just said, well, we want to win a championship, and we need to add this quarterback.
Well, I don't know if karma's biting them in the butt, but my gosh, it does not look good. They are 1-4 right now. And not only 1-4, they ain't the Bengals 1-4. Where you look at the Bengals, you're like, oh, man, they run off six straight.
Well, because Joe Burrow, if it wasn't for the 1-4 record, was having an MVP season. He's like number one in all the categories.
Yeah, so exactly. This isn't a Bengals situation where you're like, man, if they could just, the defense gets a little better. Or again, even at 1-4, they run off they could run off six straight and all of a sudden be 7-4. The Bengals. Nobody would be surprised by that. This is just a bad situation. They look bad. They look flat. Nobody's playing, and they're supposed to be leader. And Deshaun Watson just doesn't have it anymore. And you know what it reminds me of, Rob? There's times in your life where you're going to lose it physically if you're a player, right? That's just a fact of life, all right? Nobody, you stands for Tom Brady and LeBron, you're going to lose it at a certain point. So we can all understand that. We can grapple with that. We understand that's just a way of life. Father's time is undefeated. But then there's also a thing of having your superpower, your glow, like Bruce Leroy from Last Dragon, having that be dimmed because we all see you now and you've been exposed. And remember when Tiger Woods, it wasn't just that, his back was out a little bit. It was that it was the first time in his life he was viewed as there was infidelity. There was, and not just that, it was wild stuff. There was pancake houses. There was, wife beating your car with a club. Like all of this happening. And you can tell he felt seen. He felt unsure of himself. People are questioning who I am as a person, who I am on marketability. And I feel like some of that is what's happening with Deshaun Watson. It ain't just that he's not missing passes or that maybe he's gotten a little older. I think he feels seen. I think the weight of it is heavy. And the hair that makes you good to great, the little difference that makes you good to great, he's lost that. You question things. Maybe something's not in the meticulous work ethic you have. And I think we're seeing that with Deshaun Watson, where it's not just, maybe he's off a little bit, missing passes. I think he is exposed, he feels seen, and that's part of why we're seeing the decline of him.
I've said this a few times. Joe Dumars, who put together that 2004.
Shout out to Joe D.
Right?
Joe Dumars, yeah.
Championship team. And you know this. They beat the Lakers and all that. You can say whatever you want. But the one mantra that I loved when he was the executive and running that team, he said, it's not about being right, it's about getting it right. I think that's the...
You put that on a shirt for all of us in life.
It's not about being right, it's about getting it right. And the Browns want to be right rather than getting it right because they made the offer, they made the contract, they gave him that, all that. So they're going to make it work. We're going to force this square peg in the round hole. We're going to because we did it. We gave him a guaranteed contract. We don't want to be the laughing stocks of the NFL, but it's pretty obvious this ain't going to happen because this is now over a course of 2 years. This is not just like, this is his first year and played in 2 years or he'd been sidelined. I got all that.
They were horrible for the last decade. They've had some good teams where all of us are like, man, they should make the postseason.
Baker Mayfield took them to the playoffs and beat the Steelers, their rivals. So here it is. Since coming to Cleveland, Watson has gone 9-8 in just 17 starts across 2 seasons. Barely completing 60%. And a lot of people are way over 60 nowadays and just how the way the league is set up on his throws. 19 touchdowns, 17 turnovers. That's 1 for 1 almost, so that's no good. And this season, Watson is averaging minus 0.30 EPA per drop back. This is like the analytical people. It's the lowest by any Browns quarterback since the stat was created in 2000. So that's almost 25 years. And, in fact, Watson's minus 0.30 this season is the 7th lowest mark of any quarterback in NFL history. He just have not played well. And I don't know how much longer they're going to go with this, and they owe him the money and all that. But I think that the Browns are making a mistake. It's time to get it right and stop trying to be right. They blew it. They made a mistake. They didn't realize what the layoff would have done to him. He was a good quarterback. Anybody who questions whether or not.
No,
I know. People trying to make it like, well, he really wasn't that good. No. Stop. He was a good quarterback. He is just not a good quarterback anymore. I can't get over it.
Something's off, and as I mentioned, you just wonder if it's mental. Like he's just – listen, we've all been at certain places in our life when something mentally is draining you. It's taxing on you. It's weighing on you. And it can affect your performance, whether it be at work, whether it be maybe the way you're parenting or your romantic relationship, maybe the way you're treating friends.
Why you look at me when you said that?
Yeah, I tried not to. I tried to just keep looking at the camera here. Shout out to Elijah. But you know what I mean? Where something's weighing on you, right? Maybe a family member's ill, a parent is going through it. That stuff is a lot, man. And trying to be a quarterback of a franchise in the NFL is already a hard job. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the once-in-a-lifetime generation, and he's not looking amazing. Imagine being Deshaun Watson, going through what you're going through, trying to think it's over, and it seems like every few months, every quarter, a new lawsuit, a new allegation. Dude, this stuff is taxing. And then let's just keep it real. Your personal life, maybe your I don't know if his wife or girlfriend, whatever, is over it. Let's say she's like, I'm trying to move past it. Let's just. And then another allegation, right? Now that means you go home and you got a whole other thing you got to deal with. So all of this stuff weighs on them. And the difference, if you talk to any pro or anybody you've been covering this long enough to know, anybody in the NBA can drop 40 any night. Any quarterback, random quarterback, can throw 250, 300 yards out of the blue, have a couple touchdowns. Who can do this week in, week out? That's what creates the good to great players, right? All-stars to Hall of Famers. Who does this consistently? And I just think he can't consistently do any of that anymore with all of this on him, doubting himself, the team doubting him, fans on him, allegations. Maybe he's lost a step. Maybe, the things that he normally would do as far as practice and his habits aren't quite there. Maybe his teammates don't believe in him. You just wonder if he'll ever be that again. And maybe he will elsewhere. Maybe he gets another start somewhere else. He's still relatively young. But it is time to just take the L. If you're the Browns, you got to just take the loss and move on. How
about the idea that you can't miss that much time on that level and it not affect you? I think that's real. Like
there's an exception, but I get the point. Mike Vick will be the exception.
Right, but I'm saying, how much time, Rob G, did he really miss? Like 2 seasons?
No, it was like a season
and a half. Well, it
was a season and 3 quarters.
Okay, yeah. So you see, like, you're out of pro football. That's a long time, and I'm just saying that maybe I remember when Michael Jordan was out playing and came back. You remember?
Right?
He came back at the end of the season, ready for the playoffs. They got knocked out, and he wasn't good. You remember that?
Great. Yeah, and he wasn't. Boy, did he get. He got good again.
Right, but you know what I mean. But
yeah,
before that,
that's what I said.
It wasn't automatic, and you would think that maybe Deshaun not being hit and all the work, like you're saving your body and all that. Oh, you should be good and refreshed, and it didn't work.
Rhythm, it's timing with the team, finding your guy that I got.
But he doesn't look like anything that he looked like. No, I just can't get over it. Like. There are no.
But you get what I mean when I said like that shame. Every time he steps out, I think
he's
walk like
of shame.
Like people they see me, And again, Tiger Woods. Listen, let's call it what it is. Ever since Tiger Woods was exposed, he ain't never been the same. He's won a tournament here and there. I think he's won what? 1 major, maybe 2 since then. He ain't never been the same. Now again, somebody's gonna be like, oh man, neck and back injuries. Yeah, and that's a fair point.
He's got other stuff, right?
But he was never the same. And I think that stuff, when that stuff comes out, man, those types of things, again, you're talking just a hair. Think about a quarterback, right? Hike. You're back there, you take your drop back. That one little small hesitation or that one little thought or that one little, I don't have the rapport with this guy because I haven't been able to put the time in, makes you average or below average. That's the differentiator. And I think he's just a hair off right now. Not really there. Probably. I mean, you're going home. You probably got calls with your lawyer every day. Hey, man, this is what we got to do. We got to do this. Like, it's just a lot, man. But to your point, Rob, at some point, maybe it is worth. I mean, the Browns have to move on, right? You got to take the L. We get this guy out his money. First time ever that much guaranteed. We were wrong for doing it. Maybe there's a reason why it's never been done. And they got to move on.
Here's the information, the money-wise, okay? Because there's always money attached to it. So if Cleveland cut him today, they'd have a $119.9 million dead cap hit in 2024, an $80.7 million dead cap hit in 2025. If they cut him after the season, it's a 1.18.9 dead cap in 2025 and 53.8 dead cap hit in 2026. If they cut him in 2025, after the 2025 season, the cap hit is 72.9 and 26.9. Either way,
they're screwed.
But I'm saying it's going to be a lot of money either way. No matter
Sometimes
if you want to wait,
bite the bullet.
Do it now or wait a year from now. If you wait a year from now, if you do it now, it's 198 million. A year from now, it's 170. You so it's not that you're not
bite the bullet.
And if you do it in 2026, which is inconceivable, this is a 2024 season, it still would be 100 million. So this really, so you're basically, do you want to save the 90? Is really what it comes down to.
And with
either
the
way,
inflation
it's like,
and all that, the 90 ain't the 90. You know what I mean? The 90 won't quite be the 90 by then anyway.
All right.